I really like how when I'm looking at my timeline on Instagram or I'm watching YouTube, certain videos will pop up. And then I'll watch the videos and be like, man, this is exactly what I needed to hear right now. Right. So I follow everybody. I follow Nature Boy TV, Malia and Aya and all of them. And I watched Malia have a moment when she's talking to herself. It's really a video you should watch. It's like the thoughts are so objective that when they pop up, they're perfectly fitting what I'm thinking and what words I want to use for the situation at hand. That's how objective it is, right? So like, I actually have. I don't know if because I gotta be subjective. I don't know if you've noticed it, but I have been doing the things that need to be done in order for you to heal. But maybe you can't tell. I don't know. Can you?
Yeah, because I feel like we've had moments like that are healing and helpful and, reflective and stuff like that.
All right, so let me explain. Anytime you get triggered, that's the shit that you need to heal from. That's what you need to work on. That's why you're getting so angry and upset in certain moments. And in order for you to get triggered, a situation has to happen so that you can heal whatever that part of yourself is that needs healing. That's it. That's it. But if you think, all right, my healing journey is just going to be me being happy and jolly and pleasure seeking and blah, blah, blah all the time, you got it fucked up, misconstrued, twisted. That ain't how it works. When you see me, you might not be looking at me as a dude that's been in all kinds of situations and had all kinds of buttons pushed and everything and all this other shit and still had to remain calm and ask myself why it was happening and keep in mind, at some point, it's possible that I did the thing that I'm seeing. Like, you might not see what I grew from. Is that fair? Mm-hmm. You might not see what I grew from. So when I make certain movements, you might not understand it. I already know. The only way I can pull something out of you or make you triggered by anything is I had to already have gone through it. You see? So like, I have to say the things that make you upset because those are the things that you're holding on to. Once you stop holding on to them, your perspective changes and you can't get upset from it anymore. It's just like, oh, okay, I just get it now. I get it. Okay, I'm good. I used to say same stuff to everybody. Same stuff. Plus, we're on this frequency, we're all supposed to know this already. Like, everybody is triggering you and triggering us in certain ways because there's certain aspects about us that need attention. And sometimes we keep running away from them aspects or ignoring them or distracting ourselves. Everybody that's been here has been through that shit, yo. Everybody. I give a real good example. When Adam was here, Adam used to trigger the fuck out of Kaj. And I would be laughing because I understood what was happening. And I'd be like, Kaj, he just doing all the shit you doing. He literally doing all the shit that you doing and you get upset. So when he do it to me, I already know that he just doing the shit that I'm doing. Like, you're supposed to know that. But at the time, she wasn't facing those triggers, so we had a real rough time when it came to that energy. Even though some of that shit you was doing was just extra on his own shit. We had a real rough time with that. When it comes to you and yours, you just have to be mindful. All right, if I'm getting upset, this is some shit I need to be working on. Like, I don't think in our conversations, you actually are concerned with how this part of yourself feels. As soon as you make an action, you're like, I don't give a fuck about the response. So if you're not giving a fuck about the response on the outside, that means you're not giving a fuck on your response either. Does that make sense? Okay. When you argue with me for about 3 and 4 hours over something that you didn't understand, That was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. I said, yo, this is the most disrespectful shit I've ever experienced in my life. In my life. That shit could have been so much easier. It could have been so much smoother. It could have been and should have and would have. And I'm sitting here like, dang, bro. Why would you put yourself...
What conversation are you talking about?
About the self-righteousness. And I'm sitting here like, now why would you spend all this time on this shit that you clearly understand? But the person you're talking to don't understand it. And you're trying to figure out if they understand it or not. Then I was like, why in the fuck would she keep arguing with me about some shit if she don't even know what she's talking about? Why the fuck would she do that? That don't make no sense. Like, what the fuck is she gonna gain from it? Just to try to win an argument? What is that?
Or I do think I know what I'm talking about and I'm defending my point.
After we talked about what we talked about, you said, what is self-righteousness?
Okay, I'm just
Which tells
going
me...
back over. No, I'm just being clear. That was why I did it. I after all that yelling and name calling and all that screaming and everything, I just took it back. Okay, so let's just basically get the conclusion, because all that like maybe it's not. That's not an efficient way to teach or move or nothing like that for me. So I'm like, okay, let's just get back to square one. So self-righteousness is what. That's how my mind was moving when I did it.
So here's the question. What prevented you from asking that question at the onset of when it was said?
Because I was getting triggered by how you was responding to me. And the way I was even coming off at first, I don't think your response was necessary.
Say what you just said again.
It wasn't warranted.
Say what you just said again. I was getting triggered by your what?
The way you was acting.
No. You didn't say acting.
Your response.
Okay. What does it take for someone to respond?
What does it take for someone to respond?
Yeah. What does it take? Like what has to happen in order for there to be a response? An action. Okay?
Action,
so when you're
triggered. Yeah.
So if you or I were to say, I don't like how you respond, that's unaccountability. Because you're not focusing on what you're doing to cause the response.
I did do that in that moment, and that's why I was looking at you like, the fuck is going on? Like, why are you so upset about this comment I made? That's how I was looking at it. Because in that moment, I'm not, so if I did that like the first time with the shoes or with the, whatever, we're talking about the self-righteous conversation. It's different, but yeah.
Imani.
Yeah.
I think, okay, yeah, we're having this moment. Okay. What I said, I need you to absorb. If you're focused on how someone responds to you, that means that you don't ever have to be concerned with your actions. That's not fair to anybody.
I'm looking at that moment specifically.
I mean, in general.
Okay, in general. Yeah, you're right.
In general. Okay.
You're right.
So that's what you have to focus on. When you
if I sit here in this moment and be like, bruh, you might want to call me just self-righteous, but that's not what's going on. I feel like one is being triggered and one is responding and doing all that shit. But it's not warranted. I don't even think it was necessary for you to come for me the way you did about the shoes thing. It wasn't necessary.
What makes you think it wasn't or was necessary?
Because the way I said it, the way I did, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. I didn't say it off the wall type way. I didn't do that. I just made a comment, and it seems like you didn't like the comment, so you got triggered. You want to make this some big teaching moment. It's like, bro, no. It's not what's going on here. Relax. I can feel what I want to feel about my shoes, bro. And you wanted to make, no, you got to get profound and this and that. Like, I don't even see why you even responding the way you are. Like I said, I made a statement, and you just had this whole fucking thing about it.
Is it okay if I get mad or upset at how you respond?
Yeah, because I felt some type of way with how you responded. So yeah, it could be vice versa. Yeah.
Is that good?
It is
not good.
It is what it is.
Subjectivity exists so that we can have contrasting experiences and identify something. For example, you have to have negative in order for you to identify the positive. That's why it is what it is a cool statement. It's cool, but it doesn't get to the bottom of anything. It doesn't pinpoint or target anything. It just leaves everything up for confusion.
Okay.
All right, so keep in mind, one thing that I always remember when I'm looking at this reflection is that your Mercury is in Cancer. That means we think very similarly. However, I'm older and more experienced. So that means that there are things that you're still going to encounter that I've already conquered. All right? So like when I hear I feel like this and I feel like that, I'm like Mercury in Cancer. That's why she's saying that. She's not focusing on the facts. So every time you do it, I always tell myself, make sure you stay fact-based. Make sure you stay fact-based. Make sure you stay fact-based. Because if you don't, it's just gonna be destructive. It's called destructive interference in quantum physics. Destructive interference. That
So
means
to feel something is
to know it.
not good.
To know it.
Okay, so when I say
question.
I feel this and I feel that, is that a red flag to you, or that's a problem, or like?
You know what? I totally understand where you're coming from. Yes, it is an issue. Yeah, it's a problem, 100%. Because when you say you feel, you have to analyze your feelings. Yeah, look, your higher used to say the same thing. He'd be like, man, I feel this, I feel that. And I'm like, bro, you have to blend your feelings with your thoughts. Matter of fact, and I remember having a conversation with my mom about this shit. We was talking about feelings this and feeling that. She said, you can feel something, but you might not know it. You can have a feeling about something to be totally wrong because you don't know exactly what it is.
Right,
so you have to ask questions about the feelings.
But when
so if you said
when those things match up, when your feelings and the knowledge match up, because I can feel something and actually be correct and know what I was feeling to be true, and that could take me exploring and be like, oh look, I was right. Like what I said or what I did or what I thought I should do or move was correct.
I can tell you, easy answer. You have a subconscious mind. You could feel a certain way about something and be wrong. But when you look at it, it looks like you were totally right. Because that's what you were already thinking.
Okay.
Without facts, of course it's gonna look like you're right. Without facts. Because your reality is just gonna, for example, if you a thief, or if I'm a thief, I'm gonna think everybody gonna steal from me. I got a feeling somebody gonna steal. But the truth is, I could have just left some shit somewhere and somebody just like, oh, somebody left that shit here. But then I can go back and be, oh, somebody stole my shit. But they didn't steal it. I just left the shit somewhere. It's a feeling. You got to be like, at some point, you have to be fact-based. You can't be feeling-based. Because your feelings come from your perception.
Okay.
Every time, it doesn't matter what you're going through, what you're doing, your feelings come from your perception. For example, let's say something happens and you felt a certain way about it and it wasn't true. The way you felt that, the reason why you felt that way is because of your perception. And then as soon as you get the truth, you're going to feel totally different about it. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Mm-hmm. You see, that's why you have to analyze and dive deeper into your feelings. That's why part of this journey being objectively based is so that you can feel correctly. It's so that you can embody your feelings instead of just, what's the word? Insinuating or give me another word. I know you got one. Give me one. Instead of insinuating or what? Guessing. Or assuming. Yeah. You got to embody your feelings so that you know what to correctly feel and you're not traumatizing people. If you're not analyzing your feelings, you're just perpetuating traumas. Literally traumatizing people. And you've been through it in your past, traumatizing some of your past relationships, some of your past partners. They're traumatized. And you would have to be able to see, wait a second, I had this relationship with myself, I had my relationship with this person, and it's a trauma now. So now I'm not dealing with that person anymore because there's a trauma associated with it. How do I get over the trauma? I got to analyze what happened. I got to acknowledge what happened. I got to acknowledge my feelings. I got to acknowledge my actions. I got to acknowledge all of that stuff. That's the only way. But that's why when it comes to quote unquote being triggered, those are actually the things that you need to be working on the most. That's what you have to focus on. You have to focus on it because you're just going to keep, once again, like Kato said earlier, you're just going to keep doing the same shit. And being mad at everything on the outside. And being mad at how the thing on the outside is responding to your traumatic actions. That's what you have to see. If you're always focused on them, they, him, she, her, you ain't never gonna figure it out.
I mean, I feel like I've been practicing that more so.
Well, you
like, I get what you're saying, like it makes sense, and that's why I take the time to look at what's going on and be objective. I'm learning to be like that. I get it.
Embody it.
Right. I don't know how to do that. It just take.
That's acknowledgement.
I feel like you don't like. It seems like I'm not learning fast enough for you, and that's fine. It is what it is.
That actually could be true because that would be in my chart.
Yeah.
That'd be in my chart.
I'm not learning quick enough for you, and it's like, but that's. It is what it is. I can see her be like, well, that's not fair. You should have more patience with me. But at the end of the day, you don't gotta have no patience. You can be like, bitch, you ain't learning fast enough. Fuck out of here. Blah blah blah. It is what it is.
I'll say
that's
this.
That's the facts of it. That's not me being in my feelings. That's me being factual and logical in my mind. Me thinking he can have his setup, and if I'm not in line with it the way he wants to be in line with it, well then he's got the right to move the way he goes.
It's not about if or how fast or the speed that you're learning. It's about the application of it. You see, in order for us to learn anything, we have to apply the knowledge that we have absorbed.
Thought I was doing that.
Well, you are, but you're doing it at your own speed, your own pace, etc., etc.
That's what
correct?
bothers you.
Correct.
But it's like, for me, I'm satisfied.
Well, doing it at your own pace, when there's something requesting it, is gonna cause friction.
What are you
That's
requesting? Why. To learn faster? To get it faster?
To apply.
How
because
am I not applying? That's what you need to clear up. How is Imani not applying what we're talking about?
Oh, I can easily clear that up. Because you laugh.
So
or you say LOL.
You don't like when I laugh?
It's the timing. I don't mind you laughing. It's the timing.
That's just like a response of mine.
Correct.
Sometimes my laughter could be a nervous laugh. Like, what the fuck? Or it could even be a trigger laugh. Now I'm thinking about it, it's like, oh, ha ha, like.
But it's not funny.
Maybe it's just like I'm just not taking it serious what you're saying.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
like,
of course, if you're not taking it serious, it has nothing to do with the speed that you learning it. It's literally just you not taking me or yourself serious.
Okay.
So of course that would bother somebody who actually takes their life seriously. Of course.
Right.
But that's something that you need to work on. You have to be more serious. You have to take things more seriously so that you can move as fast as you want to move.
Okay, so when it comes to taking something seriously, what things should I be taking seriously? Because you say take your life seriously, but that's real big. So let's get the 1, 2, 3s of that. What does that look like? When somebody's take their life seriously, what are they doing?
They question everything.
Okay.
You were the main person saying you need to go on the quest. We got to go on the quest. I was heard such say go on the quest, go on the quest. So when you're not taking it seriously, you're not going on that quest.
Right.
It ain't like at some point
like,
you can't separate yourself from me. You literally can't separate yourself from me. Think about it. Go ahead. Give me your response.
I mean, I do think there's, because you just said we can play this. We gotta get subjective to get to
correct
objectivity.
And I said,
so that shows that there is differences.
Correct.
If we can be subjective, that means that there's differences.
Correct.
That's how you can be it.
Correct.
So then that means I'm not necessarily you. Similar, like kind of like twins. They're like, they look a lot alike, but they are different.
Okay, what makes you think that with the concept you just introduced, I don't already know that? If I'm you,
you can know it.
Think about what I'm saying. Think about what I'm saying. Your response. Hold on. Control your response.
Oh my god.
Think about what I'm saying. If I say, yo, you can't separate you actually can't separate yourself from me. We in the same room, the same house, the same earth, the same brain, the same everything. With the same in that aspect. How we look at it is what makes us separate. That's the only part that makes us separate. Just right. You're sitting over there, I'm standing up over here. That's the only thing that makes it different. Your body look different, your body move different. That's it. But what you're hearing is in fact your mind. That's the truth.
How? How is what you
because everything
is my mind?
Because everything is mental.
And if it is my mind, why do I disagree with stuff that's being said? Because
there's traumas associated with what you disagree with.
So if I disagree with something, that makes it a trauma.
There, not necessarily, but in your case, there's traumas. Not necessarily, but in your case, there are traumas associated with what you disagree with. Okay, you could
so
for example.
What things have I been disagreeing with? Because that's a big statement, right? The things that I'm disagreeing with is a trauma. So what things have I been disagreeing with?
Well, you just said that would be something for you to say that you disagree with. Because the only way I can respond to that is for you to acknowledge what you disagree with.
Oh, so I have to sit here and tell you I disagree with A, B, and
C. Yeah, and then I can build off of it, and then we get clarity. Because otherwise, you just be putting all the accountability on me and not yourself.
I disagree with feeling like if somebody tells me they don't want to fuck with me like that and don't want to be around me like that, I disagree with that. I have to then go up to that person and still try to. What I feel to be forcing a relationship with that. I'm not doing that. I disagree with calling that being a bigger person to force the relationship. I'm not, and since I disagree with it, I'm not doing it.
Who called it, what, I don't understand the bigger person part that you added to that. I don't understand that part.
Because I just said, cause you said that, I need to be the bigger person with Kaj.
Yeah.
You keep saying that. And it's I am low key, because I'm respecting the fact that she said she don't fuck with me like that. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to make it a point to force the relationship. I'm not going to do that. Because I disagree with being told that, I would be the bigger person if I would keep trying to stimulate a relationship with that. No. It's been told that it's not what's wanted. Therefore, I'm not going to force it. So that's an example.
So are you saying that you feel like I'm forcing you?
Yeah.
In what way?
Absolutely.
In what
way?
Whole,
the other day I was at the beach, you called me, and you're like, well, and I'm like, what's wrong? What's going on? How long are you going to have a grudge?
Yeah.
So, who was you talking about?
Cause I said that.
Okay, cool. So, now, and then when we had that, you started drilling me with all them questions, and then you started making these statements, and then you hung up on me and did all that shit, and then you stopped talking to me. Didn't respond if I would say something, so you didn't say shit. So that's you trying to force me to go make amends or not have a grudge and all that.
How was I trying to force you? How?
Because you did that. Because you've made statements like, hey, I need to be the bigger person. I need to do this. I need to do that, and then I'm not doing it, right? So then it's a phone call of, well, how long are you gonna have a grudge? Sir, I don't have a grudge. She don't want to fuck with me. I'm not gonna force the relationship. That's for what? I feel to me that feels like I have to kiss ass, or I gotta shit like that, or be fake and be like, please be my friend type shit. And that's just not me, bro. I'm not gonna beg nobody to be a friend.
I didn't tell you to do anything you just said.
You keep telling me to be the bigger person.
Yeah, but I didn't tell you any of the stuff that you just said. I didn't tell you any of that.
Go kiss ass and all that.
I didn't tell you none.
Okay, but what is it when somebody? What do you call it when somebody made it clear to me? I was bold enough to be like, it feel like you don't want to be around me like that. Like something's going on. Yeah, it is, Imani. I don't really want to be around you like that. So if you're telling me be the bigger, what is that?
Oh, simple. I specifically said, and I came prepared. Matthew 6.
So what part of Matthew 6 are you talking about specifically? Because Matthew
forgiveness.
6 is big.
Forgiveness.
What do I need to forgive her? What am I looking at her like? Oh, I'm not saying like, oh, bitch, you don't want to be my friend, so fuck you, bitch. Fuck. I'm not coming at her like that. I'm just like, shit, she don't want to talk to me, so if I see her out in public, I'm not gonna be like, oh my God, hi, Kosh. I'm not doing that, because Shorty already let me know that she ain't fucking with me. So what else could I do to be more forgiving of her? I'm
gonna give you a response.
How do I forgive her when I'm not even upset? I'm just taking it. It is what it is. So if anything, she need to forgive, and you need to be telling her to forgive me. I'm just sitting here like shit. Okay, if she feel like I did something she don't like, well then I'm gonna respect it and just give her the space that she said she won't. That she said she wanted. I'm not forcing it. I'm not. Please, Kyle, be my friend.
How many times you gotta say it?
I'm not. As many times as it takes for you to hear what I just said.
What makes you think I didn't hear it the first time?
Because you keep pushing the issue.
How am I pushing
the issue?
Up
until this point, up until
literally
you
just
start
listening
silence
to
treatment.
I'm literally just listening to you.
Right, but you might be listening to me now, but then later on be having these conversations where I need to be the bigger person type stuff. So it's like you hearing me, but you're not hearing me.
So when you say I hear you, but I'm not hearing you,
you're listening, but you're not hearing me.
Okay, you saying so you're saying I'm listening, but I'm not hearing you.
Mm-hmm.
When you say that, are you saying I'm just gonna do it my way and I don't care what you have to say?
That's how you look. Yeah, that's how you looking at it. Yeah.
Wait, how am I looking at it?
Because you're gonna keep getting in my face. Well, not even getting in my face. Not like you like being fucking raw, like we about to fight or so. But like you keep wanting to like make these conversations about being the bigger person.
So notice at the beginning of our conversation, I said that the things that you're triggered by are actually the things that you need to work on.
So I'm triggered by the fact that you tell me I need to be
a bigger person
with
yes.
Taj.
In general.
But what I'm telling you is I am by not talking to her.
That's your opinion.
Okay, so what's being the bigger person? Now it's like, okay, give me the solution. Because you saying my way.
How am I going to get to a solution if you keep talking?
Because that's what I get to talk to, sir. You talk a lot and you talk long.
Okay, right now you're triggered, right?
Yeah.
That's something you need to work on.
I'm triggered by you trying to shorten my response and what I want to say or what I want to vent and talk about. But when you do it, it's good, bro. You get to talk all you want. So why are you trying to silence me?
I'm actually not trying to silence you at all. I'm trying to find a spot to where I can say something.
When I'm done talking.
Continue.
It's like a dialogue, so I might go for 2 minutes, you might go for 5 minutes. I might go for 60 seconds, you might go for 3 minutes.
Let me know when I can speak.
But see with that, it's like you trying to, I feel like that's antagonizing, because like, it can flow in a way where it's like, okay, obviously I can chime in right now.
And money, that doesn't make sense, yo. I'm literally speaking to you as calmly and as passive as possible.
What's the point in saying? What are you saying?
Did you understand what I just said?
Are you saying I'm being aggressive?
No. Did you understand what I just said?
Okay, with you being passive, what are you expecting? Like I'm supposed to respond differently? You don't like how I'm responding to your passiveness?
Well, you're using the word force, and force is not passive.
Forcing. When I say you're forcing me to what you call being a bigger person, with guys?
In general, because look.
It's like when you keep talking about it and then you getting upset and then you do.
I can't help you if you just want to be heard. I can't help you.
Okay,
if you only want to be heard and you don't want anybody to talk,
That's not what's going on here. We're having a dialogue. He's like, you talking and I'm talking. It's not you gotta shut the fuck up and let me just keep talking. That's not what's going on. And like all this that you're doing is just whatever point you're trying to make is getting lost in the sauce. It's like, that's how I'm feeling.
So when you're saying what you're saying, can you hear your words and then go, wait a second, everything I'm saying to him actually applies to myself?
Yeah, that's being objective.
So you're saying that what you just said is getting lost in the sauce.
So what I just said got lost in the sauce, but you didn't keep up or nothing.
And
what if it's one of those? Like, what if I'm just not keeping up with you? Like you be drilling mugs with questions and shit. Like maybe I'm just not keeping up.
I'm literally just trying to find a spot to talk in. I'm literally just trying to find a spot.
So it's like what I just said don't mean shit. You just want to say.
I heard exactly what you said.
Go ahead.
So that was long. I was trying to like you make you'll make points, and I respect this. I respect what you're saying. I want to let you know 100%. I respect what you're saying. I respect your perspective. I just ask for the same respect. I'm asking. I'm not forcing you to do anything. I'm asking for the same respect.
Okay, so me respecting your perspective is me asking, what should I be doing? Like, what do you think? Because you saying what I want to do with the whole not talking to her is not the right way. So what is the right way? Just keep trying to talk to her? That's what you're going to tell me?
Okay, this is the pattern I keep seeing. Okay.
So you're not even going to get to the answer. Like, can I get the answer first and then you point out the pattern?
How do you know if I was going to answer you or not?
You said just here's the pattern. And
yeah.
I asked you a question that will give me a direct answer, not about patterns. You would have told me you can do this, that, and the third.
How do you know? Okay, so I didn't respond to you the way you wanted.
Right.
Okay. So how am I supposed to know how to respond?
With a direct answer.
I was going to give you a direct answer. Okay. Where's my opportunity to give you the direct answer? That's my question.
I feel like I get direct answers really from you.
All right, so anytime.
Keep communicating the way you are.
So anytime you feel like I'm not giving you a direct answer, let me motherfucking know. How about that? That's the solution.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, the pattern I'm seeing, or it's actually, hold on, because there was a lot in there, and at I need you to respect. You said a lot of stuff, so there's a lot of shit for me to address. Like for the record, now I know I ain't bullshit. You said a lot of shit. Okay. So now I have to address every single thing you said and every single question, but I can't keep up with every single thing. I have to do it one at a time. Check this out, though. I'm going to digress for a second, and I'm going to come back to you. Give me a sec. I said, yo, I've been talking to Andres. I'm like, bro, Francisco be so fucking scatterbrained, bro. He'll tell me to do one job, and then in the middle, right before I even get the chance to finish the shit or even start it, he'll tell me to do something different. And then before I get to finish that, he'll tell me to do something different. I'm like, damn, I want to keep up, and I want to do exactly what he want me to do, but I can't because he keeps stopping me in the middle.
Okay, so we feel the same way. That's what I'm getting from what
I'm trying to rock. Just let me rock. So, you're saying you feel the same way. If you feel the same way, that's something that you're doing.
I get it.
Okay, so you have to respect that when you're doing it to this, and I'm doing what I can to answer every question. See the smile on my face? I'm literally doing what I can to give you exactly what you want, and I don't get the opportunity to. And then you get mad that you didn't give me the opportunity to give you what you want.
Oh,
and I'm just sitting here like, bro, how should I see this shit?
That's interesting.
How?
Okay,
The pattern I want to point out to you, besides that, the pattern I want to point out to you is this. When you feel however you feel about something, you'll add in unnecessary details. Mm. And that's what causes confusion when it comes to me answering your questions.
Okay.
So you'll ask me a question and then put all this extra shit in it before I even get the chance to answer. And then I'll be like, trying to jump in. I'm fucking double dutching this shit, trying to jump in. And I'm like, damn, she didn't even let me jump in. She getting mad at me and I'm trying to do exactly what she said me to do. Damn. What the fuck am I supposed to do then?
Yeah.
So you'll start saying shit, we call it outlandish. You start saying shit that's outlandish, and I'm like, bro, I didn't say that, and all that stuff you saying, all these concepts you coming with, they don't apply because I didn't put you in that situation. Mm-hmm. I didn't even, them ain't even my words. Them ain't even, so if you putting words in my mouth, that's your own perception, and you putting it in my mouth, and I'm like, yo, that ain't fair. Mm-hmm. You know? Mm-hmm. And that's what we keep going through. And what I'm saying had to happen in your past as well with your previous relationships.
Oh, putting words in your mouth is what I'm doing.
Yes, and it's causing confusion.
Okay.
And on top of that,
it's just me asking questions. I'm asking questions. Okay, I get what you're saying, and I'm gonna start working on that and being more aware. Like, wait, don't be outlandish. Have straight, direct questions. And let shut the fuck up and hear the straight, direct answer.
Yeah.
The straight, direct answer. Not all these. Here's this example of these people and what they did. Like, all that shit throw me off.
If you give me an indirect question, how am I gonna give you a direct answer?
No, I didn't even. Okay, give me. Okay, I see. I just dismissed it right away and was like, no.
See?
But now I'm gonna. But I caught myself and now I'm gonna say, give me an example. Of me.
Every question you just asked me earlier, I'm like, bro, which question do I answer? She asked a bunch of them.
Well, okay, so if you can say I asked a bunch of questions, you can't think of like 2 or 3 questions. You don't remember.
It was so much because you. It's like jumbling. It's like, hey, here's this word search. Find the words in that motherfucker. Yeah, hear all the letters. It's 100 letters and 10 words. Find the words in there.
Okay,
that's what it's like.
Down.
That's that's a perfect analogy too. That's what I'm experiencing, and I'm like, nigga. First off, let me tell you something about me and light crown melanin and to lead. I don't even agree with the statement or the concept of healing. Mm-hmm. I don't even agree with it.
I don't know why you feel that way.
Oh, would you like to know?
Yeah.
That's a better. See, look, so check this out. Think about what just happened. You said, I don't know why you feel that way, but you didn't ask. See, if your first instinct was, why do you feel that way?
Yeah.
That's going to get you to a solution. But if you say, I don't know why, you ain't got no solution. You the problem. In life, you either the solution or the problem. The reason why I'm going to give you the answer now is because you can't grow and heal at the same time. You can't. You can only do one or the other. You can't grow and heal. When you look at a plant, study the plant, study nature. When something's healing, it's not the only thing that's quote unquote growing is the new cells, the new cells. But you ain't necessarily growing in a big way. I gotta cut a branch off. It heals itself, then it grows. I cut a branch off, it heals itself, then it grows. If you don't have nothing to cut off, all there is growth. That's why in life we always have to get rid of what no longer serves us. Because the stuff that no longer serves us, it goes against our growth.
Okay, so is there a thing of, because I hear you right, like, okay, it's like you either healing or you're growing. You can't do both.
Yes, you cannot do both.
Okay, so with that, can there be a time where somebody need to focus on healing and then they get to the process of where they're growing? Because it's like the processes are. You're doing it now. Thank
you, Talib. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about. That pattern right there. That's the pattern I was talking about.
Okay,
that's what makes it confusing.
That was my question. Boom. Let me shut up.
Now, what was your question? Say it again so we can go.
Okay,
go forward.
so I heard 2 processes can happen:
Go ahead.
healing and growth, and they can't be done simultaneously.
Nope.
My question is.
What are you chasing?
Where am I supposed to be right now? Like,
growth.
Where do you think I'm supposed to be?
Growth.
I'm supposed to be just in the growth stage.
100%.
No healing need to be done with me.
Nope.
Even though you're talking about I got trauma.
Nope. 100% growth. 100%. Sounds confusing, right? It sounds confusing. So look, if you only focused on your growth, that's all you're going to do. If you only focused on your healing, you're going to stay sick. Oh, God. If you only focused on healing, all you can do is entertain the energy of sickness. That's it. See, everything is mental. So your concept, your perception, how you look at things is what puts you where you're at. So if you got to heal and you got to heal, you're going to stay sick because that's all you doing to your mind is saying that I'm sick. That's it.
Okay,
that's it.
I hear you. Like, okay, if I'm
but what you need is growth.
If I say I need to heal, then I'm indirectly saying I'm sick.
100%. And what you're supposed to be doing is chasing your growth. When you look at the character that's inside of your mind and inside of your body that calls itself to lead, it's growing. It's not healing shit. It's growing. It's growing and growing and growing and restoring and getting stronger and building a stronger foundation. It's growing. I'm growing. I ain't healing from shit. I don't need to heal from shit. For what? For what? You're in a pattern. You're literally in the quantum field of healing. They healing. Growth. They growing too. Francisco growing too. You see there's more people coming. Everything is growing, not healing.
Interesting.
As fuck. So we're having a self-awareness situation happening here. You got to be aware of what environment, what quantum field that you're in. That's it. So that means you got to know where you're at. You're not even in a healing phase. You're in a growth phase. But you've been thinking that you're in a healing phase, but you feel like you're healing and you actually been growing. That's why everything keep getting added to the kingdom. Matthew 6. See how it all come full circle? So if you fight this healing versus this growth, you at war with yourself. That's where your confusion is. I don't know which one I want to do. Either I done lost the war and lost the battle and all the other shit, or I'm the one that collects the spoils of the war. I won. I'm growing. You're either one or the other. You can't serve two masters. Matthew 6. See, I came prepared. That's why you got to be paying your attention to me, specifically me. That's why you have to. And when you don't, you're not going to be growing. Look, one person that knows this shit, without me saying it, why not? He be telling all his wives, hey, man, make sure you go follow code, make sure you fall asleep, blah, blah, blah. And you ever know, oh, well, you won't be aware, but he been growing. That's how all this stuff work with carbonation. That's how it work. Anytime you see somebody talking about the kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven, you're talking about your growth and storing your treasures up in heaven. So you ain't going through all of that same shit that you went in the past. You're not going through that shit no more. You're not. You're in your growth phase. People come here to grow, not to heal. And we used to have conversations about this. I'm not going to say debates, arguments, all that. We used to have conversations about this often. Like y'all talking about freaking healing this and healing that. Y'all niggas sick. That's why you talking about healing. But as soon as you start talking about growing and adding shit and being in abundance, because ain't no healing in abundance either. Ain't no healing there. That's just growth. You see? When there's sickness, things are taken away. When you're trying to heal something from something, things are taken away. But when you're growing, everything's given. God already knows what you need. Here you go. Energy already knows what you need. Your subconscious mind and your conscious mind and your unconscious mind already knows exactly what you need. It's just doing it. It's just giving it. But when you stop paying attention to it and you're away, you can't grow. That's what you've been experiencing. That's all I've been trying to tell you the whole time. And you saying, well, I can't learn. I ain't been learning that at your speed. And I'm like, yo, you're. It's like going to Puerto Rico and going, I'm not in Puerto Rico yet. I'm still in the States.
That's how I'm acting.
That's what it's like. I'm not saying that's how you act, but that's what it's like. I'm using an analogy. That's what it's like. It's like being somewhere and not aware of where you're at. Okay. That's it. You just somewhere in a quantum field, and you ain't been around. I said you ain't been around nobody like me. Yo, I'm trying to tell you ain't been around no nigga like me ever. You ain't ever been around this energy before. You've seen it with your eyeballs. You put photons in your eyes because there's other people on the frequency that are aware of this stuff. You put the photons in your eyes, so that's what allows you to touch those other cells, the light, because that's all we are. Anyway, light things. But that's it. That's it. You got to be aware that you're tasting your growth. And the longer you sit in the oven, the more you get baked. But when you're going out all the time, when you're away all the time, you can't see it. You can't. You ain't putting your eyeballs on it. You're not focused. That's it. When we having conversations like this, and I'm like, man, you be on your phone, man. You responding to this, man, leave that phone alone. Them distractions exist for a reason. I'm going to say it again. Them distractions on your phone exist for a reason. It's so you can't pay attention to what you need to pay attention to. Mm-hmm. That's the whole reason they be happening. We having an important conversation and your phone ringing, the first thing you do is answer. You can't focus. Once you start acknowledging that shit as a distraction, then you're going to be like, man, fuck the phone. I might just silence it. Oh, such and such calling. That's somebody I'm familiar with. Okay. They're not really familiar with you. They're not. Unless they're in the tropics, they're not really familiar with you. Unless they're talking about shit like this, they're not really familiar with you. We used to talk about this often. Your family is the people that's familiar with you. You're expressing patterns that are familiar with me. You're expressing patterns that are familiar with cards. You're expressing patterns that are familiar with carbonation. You're expressing those patterns because we're a family. And when you understand it, that's really all you're going to focus on. All these other people ain't going to really understand life like you do. You're at a certain intelligence quotient and you don't even get it yet. You're all the way up here thinking that you're down here. Talking about lost in the sauce. Come on, cuz. You got to know where you at for real. It's like I said I'm a Leo ascendant. When you study my character subjectively, I'm a Leo ascendant. If I don't feel appreciated, I'm going the other direction. That is my pattern. That is my program. That's how Leo ascendants work. Now, if you want to look at things objectively, even when it comes to Kai, now let's specifically focus on that situation with Kai. If you look at it objectively, there's no way for you to say she doesn't fuck with me if you don't fuck with her. Like, there's no way for you to say it and point the finger at her. It's actually coming from you. It's your projection. It's your projection. She only exists because you observing her. I only exist because you're observing me. That's the only reason. That's it. It's your projection. It's something you're seeing inside of yourself. This is the inside. But if you think it's the outside, then you're just gonna think it's the outside. Now, another thing I wanted to say, I've been doing studies on this herpes pattern to acknowledge something. I had a conversation with you and I said, you know, when it comes to computer, what the virus does with the Mac computers is it traps it. It traps it in the box. I learned that when it comes to herpes pattern, the herpes virus cell hides, keep in mind your patterns in the past, not now, in the past. The herpes pattern hides from immune cells. I'm an immune cell. These people on this frequency, we're immune cells, and you was hiding. That's one of them patterns. When you go away, and you don't. Oh, go ahead. You got to say?
No, I'm listening.
Okay.
My hand is.
So when you're going away and making yourself unseen to the immune cells, because not all the people you talk to immune cells. When you in the tropics, the first thing that's activated is your immune system.
Yeah,
that's what makes you an immune cell. So if they're not in the tropics, you kind of shouldn't even be talking to them too much. Not too much. Because you ain't focusing on your immunity. If you want to heal, guess what you got to have? A strong immune system. A strong immune system. You got to be, I keep my bullshit helmet strapped up real tight. Real tight. On the bottom. Might want to do it for yourself too. Use your magic. Got my helmet on. Straps on. Matter of fact, I got a face mask on my shit too. All that. For real.
Well, they call it the armor of God.
The who?
The armor of God.
Explain that to me. This is my first time hearing this. Well, maybe I've heard it before. I would like to elaborate.
I've read in the Bible
Please.
it talks about the armor of God to protect yourself against, the outside forces, if you will.
So think, you either at ease or you in dis-ease. If you healing, dis-ease.
I mean, that makes sense because of one saying, "Oh, I need healing." That they're telling you they're sick.
They're telling you that
because if you're healthy,
disease.
right? Because if you're healthy, you're not gonna be like, "Oh, I need to heal." Like you're gonna be focused on something else. When you're saying that something else is growth. Yeah, and I have said that. That's why I'm not even.
You've been deceiving yourself.
What you're saying.
Think about what I just said in a profound way. You've been deceiving yourself.
Deceiving.
Yeah, it means you've been lying to yourself instead of telling yourself the truth and being the truth. You've been deceiving yourself.
Right.
It ain't got nothing to do with everybody else. It's just yourself.
So it's never a time where it's other people. It's just always me.
Every time.
And I guess I just don't be trying to fully accept that shit.
Why? Oh, wait. Oh, that's trigger. What does that mean? Something you need to work on. Every time. It's the same. It's just literally the same patterns over and over.
Yeah, because
all right, I'm triggered. I need to be working on this shit.
Yeah.
When you look at
that is triggering.
When you see how my life is working,
yeah.
I had to be triggered. For all of the abundance and success and all of this stuff, I had to go through those triggers to get to this point.
So what's going through the trigger of me saying I don't fuck with college? What is?
You need a solution. You need a solution because there's people that I said I don't fuck with, and I held on to it. Instead of me letting that shit go, I held on to it. Like, for example, I wasn't forgiving. I wasn't as forgiving as I could have been. But there were certain moments and times where I was like, you know what, man, fuck this shit, man. I'm gonna just keep giving. Because to forgive means to give first, by the way. Mm-hmm. To forgive, for means in front of.
Yeah, forward.
So, to forgive, you got to be the one that gives first.
Right.
The bigger person part, when you bigger, you're growing. You're already grown. The trees get bigger, they're growing. When you're the bigger person, you forgive. You be like, okay, that person is. You got to play the subjective game a little bit too. So, oh, that person needs to work on forgiveness. Okay, cool. So they're showing me that I need to work on forgiveness. You see? They're showing me, because that's my projection, that I'm the one that needs to work on forgiveness. It ain't got shit to do with them. And they can learn it from you. But it takes for you to be the one to want to be responsible enough, or accountable enough, which is a better word, to show them how to do it. But if you want everybody else to show you, you're never going to be accountable. You're never going to be bigger. You're going to be the subordinate. You're going to be the submissive one. You're going to be underneath. Oh, sub, under. Sub means under. Every time. So you got to look at yourself as the person that sets the bar. I've told you this before. You got to set the standard. You're setting the bar. You're not in you're not in Kansas anymore, Dorothy. That's why you're supposed to be doing it. It's bigger than just you. But keep in mind, it said in your chart, you're here to transform your selfish ego.
Where it say that at?
First house, Cancer. First house.
It said I'm here to transform my selfish ego.
Pull it up. Pull it up. Pull it up. Pull it up. First house. Jupiter first house. Right?
Yeah,
Jupiter first house.
Jupiter
First house. That's the one. Jupiter first house. You're here to transform your selfish ego. And he said, man, I'm selfish. I'm like, nigga. Look at how I just do what I want you to. Just listen to me, and I ain't listening. Look at your patterns, yo. Look at yourself. I say, yo, you're self-righteous. All of that stuff is the selfish ego. I'm only concerned with me, and I'm not concerned with everybody else. I'm not concerned with being the example. You gotta want to be the example.
Yeah, I guess I don't want to be the example when it comes to Kaj. I don't.
It's bigger than just Kaj. Because if you do it with one person, guess what's going to happen? You're going to do it with who?
Everybody.
One thing I noticed about you...
But is that always necessarily true? Is that
100%,
always the case?
100%. 100%. 100%.
I just feel like it's dependent on the circumstance of what's going on.
Notice you said you feel like, so what facts do you have to back up the feelings?
To this point, context is important.
Who? Context.
Context is important. Like,
See,
that plays a role too. That's why you can't even get, okay, I ain't gonna do what you just said me do. Okay, that's my point that I'm making. Context is important.
So that means everything around. So what makes you think that this isn't context?
You giving me context right now?
Yeah, all this is context. Context means what's... Okay. Matter of fact, hold on. What is context?
Like, given the whole situation, like, you putting out all the cards. Like, you letting, like, this happened, that happened. These are the steps and these are things I've been said and done to get somebody to this point.
Correct.
Yeah.
So for example, somebody would quote a Bible verse, and I'd be like, they don't got the context because you have to read everything before.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. But then I was like, no, let me.
You gotta look and go objectively. I'm the one that needs to focus on the context because I'm not.
How am I not? I am.
I can explain it to you. I can explain it to you. I can explain it to you. I can explain it to you.
I'm listening. I'm also
because I know I'm aware. Excuse me. Because when you have your arguments, you only focus on one thing instead of the entire context. That's specifically what you do. Specifically.
Only focus on one thing.
Yes. For example, when it came to the shoes thing, I was like, yo, I've been over that shoes thing. I'm looking at something way bigger than that. But you kept going shoes. I'm like, yo, I ain't even worried about the shoes thing. Hey, either you were right and I was wrong. Or I was right, you was wrong. One of the two. But I'm not even on that. I'm looking at this other pattern that I see with this self-righteous. That's it. Like, that's the context part. So when you're telling the mirror what it should be doing, you're the actual person that should be practicing it. So you telling yourself that you not practicing that shit.
I'm not
and looking at the outside and going, they're not practicing it.
Okay, I'm not practicing forgiveness.
Or context, looking at the context, and you do that because your Mars is in the 7th house, which makes you want to argue and combat and all this other shit.
Oh, wow.
You got to know your chart. When I'm around people, I know their chart. So I know how they're going to move. I know how they're going to act. It's literally like if me and you were to play some Yu-Gi-Oh or some Pokemon, I see what cards you got in your hand. You see, when I do this right here, this is something I don't know how many times you looked at this. You see this right here?
Yeah.
Have you ever read it?
Only when we do it
Okay,
together.
so now, shows you the context of this character. So you literally shouldn't have any questions as to why I do what I do, because you should know my script is right there, my nigga. The script right there. That's the script.
So, okay, here's a question I have for that. Because what you're saying, okay, shut up. Okay, the question is me learning your script gonna help me learn me?
100%. 100%.
Because
you know what you're interacting with. Then you won't be as triggered. Then you won't be blah, blah, blah. It's just like, oh, he doing this because of yada. He doing this because of blah, blah, blah. Because he got this placement and yada. That's how this works. But if you selfish, you only going to focus on your chart. And that's it.
Yeah, and you're right. Because even since I got into astrology, I'm focused on my chart. Like, I don't really care about everybody else's chart like that. Like, I'm expecting you to know your shit. And, we can talk about what I know about my shit.
So think about it. When you focus on your chart, you're going to see the patterns of your chart. Think about it. You're going to see the patterns of your own chart coming out of other people, and then you're going to critique them, not aware that shit is you in your chart from what you read and put in your subconscious.
So where am I trying to say I'm unforgiving?
I didn't say you was unforgiving.
Because you saying...
I said you need to practice forgiveness.
Okay. Practice forgiveness.
Yeah. That's Matthew 6. And that's,
hey.
If you practice forgiveness a lot, there's no way you can be as triggered. There's no possible way.
I'm sure I wasn't as forgiving and stuff and held
Great acknowledgement. Great acknowledgement.
But now
you still do it. You just got to work on it more. You still do it. You just have to work on it more. Oh, you saying you don't?
No, I can always improve.
Exactly. See, that's great acknowledgement.
I can always be greater at whatever I
want
to be good at.
The two times you just acknowledge those things, that's growth. That is growth. But if you were to ignore it and then try to come up with some kind of argument or some kind of contradictory statement, devil's advocate stuff, you're not growing. You're perpetuating the trauma, which is dis-ease. Oh yeah, let me change my name over right now. But did you see it?
No, I'm not seeing it. You said Jupiter.
It might be one of your
first
aspects.
house.
Yeah, it should be Jupiter first house.
Oh, look at that.
It might be one of your aspects. I could be right. If I'm wrong,
trine?
I'm wrong.
A trine one or a square?
It ain't gonna be no trine. It's gonna be a square or opposition.
Okay, let me go to this.
One or two. Because you read that thing, I was like, I'm selfish.
People with this aspect are emotionally demanding. They are often unable. Oh, that was it?
Keep going.
Okay. They are often unable to maintain friendships because of their interest. For an example, because of their religious activities.
Is that Mars?
Oh, I thought you said Jupiter.
Yeah.
This says Venus square Jupiter.
Okay, keep going.
Idealism or long stays abroad. They often have artistic ambitions, but they lack talent. They are difficult to get along with because they are often selfish and demanding.
It's no brainer, yo. And this thing, we couldn't be at this moment without you not paying attention to your chart. That's important. It's literally, it's like you have a script. Your character is doing certain moves. It's your playbook.
So that if I knew that was in my chart, and then
then you can work on it.
The things is happening, right? And then when those moments of triggeredness, I guess, is coming up, you'd be like, oh, that's your or I would tell myself, oh, this is my square Venus, blah blah blah, right now. That's what you said. That's what's being said. It's just a reaction.
Your mind.
See, I'm laughing right now, right? But it's not because I'm not taking it seriously.
I know that. That's why I'm not. So I'm not giving you no crazy response. See, think. I'm gonna know why you laughing, cuz.
Okay, so you.
I'm gonna know.
You tell me you know the moments when I'm laughing because I don't give a fuck what's being done.
Even by saying you, I'm like, nigga, I'm telling myself.
Yeah.
It's objective. But I keep using you.
Yeah, I know when I'm laughing because I don't give a fuck. Yeah.
Because it's something that you don't understand.
Yeah.
Because you can only not give a fuck when you don't understand. Ain't nothing important to you when you don't understand what it is. Ain't nothing important to me when I don't understand. That's why I keep going on this journey of learning, because I'm a student forever. Talib is a student. So when you tap into this, you tapping into your student, not your teacher. You tapping into your student. And once you apply the stuff, that's when you teach. And your only form of teaching is just by what you're doing, being the example. You ain't even really got to say much. Your actions are gonna speak louder than your words. But if you just want your words loud all the time, you ain't trying to be concerned with your actions. You see the pattern now?
Yeah.
You ain't trying to be concerned with your actions, and that's the issue. You're like, man, look at how you're responding to my fucked up actions. That's crazy. And that's not your words. I apologize. It's not your words, but I'm using emphasis to get you to understand the context of the conversation.
Yeah.
Don't focus on what I'm doing. I could be a bitch. I could be a cunt. I could be rude. I could be this. I could be dramatic, blah, blah, blah. But you better respond to my shit in a good way. Well, then at what point is it you going, let me not cause this shit? Let me not be the catalyst.
Right.
You see?
So the selfishness is kicking in when I feel like I'm not being the problem or the catalyst. I should be more like, well, how
If all you see is problems, then you're the problem. If all you see is solutions, then you're the solution. Might want to repeat that one, because that's a great spell.
If all you see is problems, If you see the solution, you're the solutions. If all you see is solutions, you're the solution.
Correct. You the answer. If all you see the problems, you the problem. You the question. You're the confusion. So when you start seeking out answers all the time and make it a frequency, all you're going to ever see is answers. You're not going to see problems. You're going to look at something. I be telling people, man, I'm fixing feelings, man. I see some shit. Solution, I'm finna. Shit, I'm finna. I'm finna do all of that. Because I'm the solution. You can see it. Continue. You say, man, Talib, you know I like you, man. I know I fuck with you, because you be having that perspective. And I'm like, you stop thinking of me as somebody different from you. Then you won't be saying it. It's like, wait a second. I actually got the answers now. I didn't have the answers before, and now I got the answers. But I've been showing myself that even though I got the answers, I haven't been in the position to receive the answers. So what's causing me to not be in a position to receive the answers?
Right. Distraction.
I'm easily distracted. Talib said, yo, you ain't got no focus. Yo, your attention span is done. Done. Soon as some serious shit come up, you trying to look the other direction, do something else, get on the phone, get on the phone call, blah, 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 go somewhere. You ain't trying to focus on it. You ain't trying to focus on receiving, especially as a feminine energy. You're a receiver, not necessarily a giver. You're not receiving. You have to be in a position to do that. That's why we use the chess analogy. Chess is about positioning. In order to win a chess match, you got to be in good positions.
Mm-hmm.
You got to start it out a certain way. In the middle game, you're going to play it a certain way, and then you got an end game, meaning you need to finish strong. You ran track, coach is going to tell you to finish strong. You play basketball and you tired, coach is going to be like, hey, just finish strong. Finish strong, you good. You might be losing, but shit. Finish strong. Might win the game. Might do something that's clutch. You need to be clutch. When shit get hard, be clutch. Be Kobe. Be Michael. Excuse me, sorry. My apologies, Michael. Be Michael. Be Steph. When shit get hard, you know? See, when you're in a state of just listening and receiving, it's always easy. But when you're in that state, because Matthew 6 also said the thing about prayer and babbling. When you're babbling and just talking, you're not in a position to receive. That's what it said in Matthew 6. Everything full circle. Everything I'm saying, full circle. You can see it in yourself. I said, yo, did y'all read Matthew 6? Nope. Okay. You understand the importance of it. I told you for a reason. You got to ask yourself, he keeps saying Matthew 6. Man, let me read this shit. But I was like, I'm gonna just do whatever else. Okay. Okay, the suggestion's put out there for a reason. Because that's what the answer is. Matthew 6:5. It's right. Even through this conversation, one thing you should be peeping is how I'm responding to your energy. Because I'm showing it. I'm showing how you would respond too. When you was with that what's his name, John, your responses is what caused that relationship to dwindle. Your responses. Mm-hmm. Not how you acted, it's how you responded. Mm-hmm. BRB. So your way of avoiding conversations would be over talking somebody, or what is it? Being emotionally demanding. That would be your way of responding to it. You see? But I got some hard triggers for you. I got some. It's stuff I still ain't even said to you, cause I be waiting. I'm like, all right, is she ready to receive this yet? Cause if she ready to receive it, then her response is gonna be relaxed. It ain't gonna be just the nervous laughter, because nobody's hurting you. Nobody's hurting you. Nobody's attacking you. You see? So your response is always gonna let you know what you're ready to receive. When it comes to the kingdom, because that's one thing I heard you talk about often, you have to be in the position to receive it.
You heard me talk about that often.
Correct. The kingdom. Ain't no disease in the kingdom. Ain't no sickness in the kingdom. I used the word kingdom a lot.
Yeah,
But you asked me as if you forgot. I remember because I'm you.
I did used to talk about that.
Come on, man. You trying to test yourself or something?
Yeah, because I was hearing, just from my background and then listening to Carbonation, they were talking about the kingdom.
I'm the
My
kingdom.
background
I am Carbonation.
and also that.
I am Carbonation. I am the kingdom. I told you that earlier. People know it when they come out here. There's a reason why this one person got these concepts that nobody be talking about like that. And then you got this one person, and then you got 3 other people that are women that talk about it often. I don't know if you subscribe to the YouTubes like I am. I don't know if you follow them on Instagram. You know,
yours?
Malia and Aya and Efru got YouTube. You can
Their
subscribe.
own page?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
Separate. But you would have to be focused enough to see that, because when you look at the context of that Nature Boy TV channel, you will see who's connected to it. That's the context. When you really want to know a person, you know their friends too. That's the context. When you really want to know a place, you study everything around it, because that's the context. You see? Full circle. That's what we have to let you know. Oh, okay. They got these pages. There's always stuff that I want you to see and hear from them, because they the frequency. We the kingdom of God, yo. For real. That's why we had this shit. That's why we had these concepts. And you're in the position to receive it. But guess what? You can also lose it if you're not if you don't stay in the position and hold the frequency. You can't go through all of this. You're supposed to be going through the stuff that I'm going through. You're supposed to be going through it yourself.
What stuff are you going through?
How do I want to respond to this? See what I just did? How do I want to respond to this? That's me taking control of my emotions and my actions before I move forward. How do I respond to this? Well, without a bank account, I'm here doing what I'm doing. I actually can provide for anybody different ways, whether it be financially, whether it be through food, whether it be through words, whatever. It all comes to me, even without me asking. You see, prayer is cool, but when you focus on the kingdom of God, when you focus on the nature, when you focus on grounding yourself, when you focus on responding a certain way, things come to you. You don't have to ask. You don't have to pray. Praying means begging. You don't have to. You just go with the flow because God, what it said in Matthew 6, God already know what you want and you need. It's just going to give it to you. God just going to give it to you. That's how it works. So anybody else that's in the kingdom, they're going to know this too. And you're going to see their life look like that. Immediately. And all of those that are focused on the kingdom, whether it's having the most intense experience or having an indirect experience, as long as they focus and they paying attention and they watching, regardless of what they seeing, everything just gonna keep being added to them. Everything they want. It's very serious. It's not nothing to play around with. It's not nothing to laugh about. Like, you gave yourself the Christianity pattern for a reason. But you went against that shit and said, man, fuck all I'm Christian, the Bible, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And I'm like, nigga, if you everything in existence, you are Christianity. You are the Bible. You're the person that put that script there so that you can read it and tell yourself what to do. That's objective.
Yeah, I was going to say that's objective.
You see?
I'm being subjective. I say, oh, that was just some stuff beat into us and we wasn't Christians before, blah, blah, blah. That's just being victimhood?
100%.
Or is it the truth? Like, is it a victimhood?
You just ask the question and then ask a different question.
Yeah, I got.
So which one is
it?
Would you ask contrasting questions?
You ask one and I'm asking another one.
You ask contrasting questions.
What's wrong with that?
That's confusing.
How?
You asked two questions. Okay, you said, damn. Matter of fact, run them back to me.
The first question was, okay, that's being in victimhood. If I say, oh, Christian, we didn't come from, my ancestors weren't Christians and all that, and that was something beat into us. You say, yeah.
And before that, I was like, context, I said, you gave yourself that shit. You literally gave it to you. You don't even know nothing about what your ancestors went through. All you know is that storyline. That's it. But you never went through it yourself. Totally subjective. That you have no objective experience with slavery. You've never been beat with a whip. You don't know shit about it. You don't even know if it's true or not. There's no way to know. That's fact.
But what's the reason why
fear is a program?
Our people is the way they is.
Because of lack of self-awareness. And there is no our people are the way they are. I am just the way that I am. That's it.
Well, I knew you was going to say that, but
of course, because that's the objective truth.
Okay.
That's why.
And I can talk about myself, but, you know, I also taught myself or gave myself the understanding that, you know, your ancestors, life is in the blood, and that's got to deal with your ancestors. So if my ancestors did go through something like slavery, it would be within me too. So it is
which would make you
experienced it to a degree. I know I have never been whipped on by. I get that. I'm not going to even. I want to clear that up. That I'm not even saying I've experienced that to take away from what I feel like.
Nobody owes you 40 acres in the mule. Nobody owes you 40 acres in the mule.
I didn't say that.
I'm saying it for a concept. Like,
what's the concept?
Because black people will say, well, you know, we were supposed to get reparations, and we were supposed to get the 40 acres and a mule, and we never got all this shit. That's the slavery concept. That's the context of it. Go ahead.
Well, okay, you won't hear me say, oh, we need to get 40 acres and a mule, but what you will hear me say, yo, we need to get rehabilitated. We need to get some help. We need to get some motherfucking way to release all that trauma.
Notice you're saying we.
I.
Now, when you say I, say everything you just said, but say I instead of we. That'll make it objective. That's the understanding you have to get to. Okay, I need to get rehabilitated. Go ahead.
I'm the macro.
And the micro.
And the community will be the micro. So the community
is macro.
I am the community. So me seeing that our community is, or my community is in shambles, I know that I'm also saying I am too.
Correct. So when you aren't in shambles, what you see won't be in shambles either.
So the community, I'll just have a group of so-called black people who just winning.
Every time. Every time.
Yeah.
Because that's all you're going to see. That's the only thing that's being programmed in your subconscious and fed to you frequently, which is your frequency, which you frequently see. Once you start being that, that's all you're going to see. That's why even when people come here, there'll be people that have like, they'll be following like I'll give you an example. I'm even following like thousands of people. And I was like, number one, that shit ain't gonna do nothing but confuse you because you got all them different ways of thinking in your eyeballs. You got some stuff that you agree with, some stuff that you disagree with. You need to stop watching all this shit that you disagree with. You need to stop watching it because that's what you're feeding yourself with. When all this drama's happening, when all the news is going through what it's going through, and the radio's putting all the stuff on the news, on the radio, that's what you feeding yourself. So of course, that's all you're gonna think life looks like. But when Kato came by, he was talking about, the news and have you watched the news and blah blah blah. I'm like, nah, bro, I don't watch the news because I'm not feeding myself that shit. So I don't see. So black people don't look the same to me as they do to everybody else because I know what to feed myself.
What does it look like to you?
Regular old people like everybody else. It's the same. But you're not gonna be able to see it like that if you got a certain frequency in your eyeballs. You're not following what you need to be following. You watching stuff that you disagree with. You watching stuff that don't make you feel in your highest or your supreme or your premium or at your best or that serves your growth. You're not watching that. You might be watching drama. You might be watching entertainment, just stuff that makes you laugh, that's silly, that doesn't make sense and actually adds confusion to your mind. You see, you might be watching that type of stuff and that's what throws your focus off. You actually have to take your life seriously. Your life. It has been said that the African way of living is to prepare for your death. What that phrase means to me, I'm gonna give you a opinion on this, my perspective on it, is that when you live your life, you need to live it as if your next day you would be dead. So if your next day you would be dying, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna YOLO and be like, fuck it, I'm just gonna be as risky as possible? Or are you gonna be like, you know what? Let me just live my best life. Let me live my best.
Live my best life.
You see? It's a total difference in concept. It's a total difference in perception and how you're looking at it. Your whole life is perception. Your whole life is mental because you are your brain and you in your brain. Ain't nothing else. Your eyeballs are your brain. They're just on the outside. That's what you've been facing. You instead of just bullshitting around with life and not taking it serious, all this other stuff, you finally said, you know what? You told me, you were the one that told me I take my life very seriously. Actually, let me quote it. You said, I feel like I take my life very seriously. But then when you started looking at how you move, you actually weren't taking it seriously. It was just like a joke. You're just laughing and laughing and laughing. It's a joke. It's not serious. You got to be studying them aspects, the negative parts of yourself, so that you can get to the positive. You have to study your aspect. You got to study your oppositions and your squares and your quincunxes. You got to study that part. You also have to study your placements and see where your placements are. You don't have any debilitations. That means you have no psychological disorders. I'm going to say it again.
I feel like it. That's just me being honest. That's just me being honest. I heard what you said. Like, it sounds good.
I think it's you
like
deceiving yourself once again. I think it is you deceiving yourself again because you can't feel that way without lacking some sense of perception. There's something that you're lacking. There's something that you're not able to see, which is causing you to feel what you're feeling. But something on the outside, your projection is going, you don't have any mental issues.
But what about those projections? I was saying you're bipolar.
Okay.
And I'll get triggered.
Okay.
So is there not...
What does bipolar mean?
Well, the real definition is like, they be going...
Pull it up on your phone. See, you got to get out of that habit right there. You literally have to be as fact-based instead of going, well, here's what I think it means from what I can remember. Because that's what makes you confusing, and that's what highlights your insecurities, is when you're like, I don't know this shit, but I want to say it as if I know it. So once you're tested on it, or once you get in a situation to prove that you know it or not, you be insecure. Why? Because you don't have the facts. Mercury and Cancer.
Bipolar disorder is characterized by an extreme mood swings. These can range from extreme highs to extreme lows. Episodes of manic and depression often last for several weeks or months.
I haven't seen you depressed. You've been here for quite a while. I haven't seen you depressed at all.
I mean, okay, I've been around bipolar people.
No, you was going through a phase.
Days, fam.
You was
50 days.
50 days. What do you mean?
I've been here for like 50 days.
Yeah.
So you haven't seen it, right? And that sounds great. Good. But that doesn't mean it can't happen or it's not a thing that's happening.
I'm not saying that. What's your point in saying that?
Okay, just to clarify that doesn't mean that just because you haven't seen it up to
But I know that already.
Oh, then we're just being clear. I'm not saying that you unaware and confused and dumb about it. I'm just making sure we're on the same page when I say it.
You look, when you speak, you need to consider the possibility that I already know.
So I didn't have to say that.
Wait a second. You have to consider the fact or the possibility that I already know because you're in a relationship with yourself. So what are you going to do to clarify yourself on some shit that you already know? There's no point in saying it. That's what redundancy is.
If you already know what I feel and think and vice versa,
not what you're thinking.
We wouldn't have to talk about nothing.
That's not what I'm saying.
We wouldn't have to talk about shit.
That's not what I'm saying.
So what are you saying? 'Cause that's
Okay.
what I got.
So I'm going to say it again so you can understand it verbatim and don't put any other words in there. Specifically use my words. Hey, if you in a relationship with yourself, you looking at the mirror, are you really going to stand and look at that mirror and then tell it some shit that you already know? No, you're not.
So when I do actually stand in the mirror, what am I doing? I'm telling myself new stuff?
Sometimes you are. Because this is a big world. It's a huge world.
We don't do no recaps.
You can, but you're not dealing with a part of yourself that's inexperienced. You're dealing with a part of yourself that is well versed.
Okay, well I guess I'm learning myself.
Okay, so if you learning yourself, you should be introducing new information and new patterns to yourself. And you don't have to keep doing all the old stuff and telling yourself what you already know. That's not going to help you grow.
Okay, so are you taking that small example, making it bigger and saying what you're saying? Because
I don't understand what you're asking.
Like,
please clarify.
When you said what you just said, right?
Mm-hmm.
You were like, you don't need to say something that you already know.
Correct.
So I should just assume that you know certain things.
Yes. That's the most respectful thing to do.
So
because your patterns
become being an asshole? Because if I assume one way, because there was a time when Kyle was here, we was all talking, and it was a problem to assume. So now it's like, I guess there's sometimes it's good to assume and times that's not good to assume.
Okay, I'm glad you asked that. I'm grateful. This is easy. This easy. You're assuming because everybody is you. If you don't have all the facts and you assume something, that's when there's a big issue. Meaning you got some kind of intention as to why you're assuming something. But you're supposed to be looking at everybody as if they know, and their patterns are going to show you if they're not aware of what you're aware of. They're patterns. And whatever you're seeing and you're saying, whatever I said that right. Whatever you're seeing and whatever you're saying is something for you to acknowledge within yourself anyway. If I said that right, I think I applied that correctly. I probably didn't because it ain't feeling the way I need to feel right now. It ain't feeling the way I need to feel right now. So give me an answer. Give me a solution. It's literally just a respect. Like, it's like you're saying it. This is what it makes me feel like. When you tell me something that I'm fully aware of, it makes it seem like you're underestimating my knowledge or my wisdom.
Could that be like an insecurity on your part?
Well, it would have to be.
Yeah, because I don't feel like that's what I was doing in that moment. Now, have I ever did it? Probably.
Many times.
Yeah, there's probably sometimes I don't think you know something.
But guess what? I'm also saying it because, huh?
Because you don't know everything.
Okay, that's what that example right there.
Yeah.
What's the point of saying that?
Because it's the truth.
Do I not know that? Am I unaware of that? Are you assuming that I'm unaware of that?
You know that.
So think.
So
That's what what you're saying. Hold on, because what you're doing right now is full circle. I say, yo, why would you say that if we both know that? That's a matter of fact. We literally both know. Yeah, you don't know everything. You are everything, but you don't know because there are things that you haven't been through. That's obvious.
It's a matter of fact that you know what bipolar is, or you know these and what that is and what this is.
Yeah, I've been with somebody who's bipolar and took all kinds of medication and everything. And went through
I don't know that. And you saying I'm you, and I know that I did not know you was with somebody.
But what's your point in responding the way that you're responding right now? I don't understand.
The point I'm making is that to tell me that I should just assume that you know the information I know as well. I don't think that's correct.
Then how can you be objective?
But I can also be subjective.
Now she just told me to answer some shit directly and gave me an indirect answer.
Fam, because you can play both roles. I can be objective and I can be subjective. That's the answer. I can do both.
Why are you triggered in this moment?
Because I'm doing both. It's like I feel like it's always okay, objective. Okay, subjective. Oh no, not subjectivity is objectivity. It's like that's confusing.
Do you know
We're
when
playing a dual game?
Do you know when to be either one?
I'm learning that.
That's what the issue is.
Well,
you see, so hold on, calm with the response. Shit, man. But what I'm telling you is very true. That's why, once again, I say you triggered from it because that's what you need to work on.
Okay,
you actually do. So when you're around,
information, I think that's just not. That could just get.
You're casting a spell on yourself.
That just don't.
You're casting a spell on yourself.
Okay, well, I cast spells all day, every day.
Another trigger. Look, you need to learn to speak forward thinking.
So forward thinking is me assuming that you know what I know.
No, that's not what I said.
Because you're me.
So here's the respectful way to ask that. What is forward thinking?
We've talked about it before.
What is it?
Speaking like in a kind of like when people say, "Oh, my cup's half full, not half empty," like that.
So when you say, "I think that," and then negative, that's not forward thinking. That's not forward speaking. So
okay,
that would be casting a spell. So your problems. Go ahead. Go ahead.
When does forward thinking become almost like a toxic positivity?
Never. I don't even know how that question even. I don't even understand how that question could even exist. I don't even get it.
Because there's such thing as toxic positivity.
From forward thinking?
Okay, you're saying it doesn't make sense to think that those two can link up.
Yeah, they're not the same. They're nowhere in the same realm. So you would have to explain to me.
Help me understand that.
But you would have to explain to me what makes you think that they're in the same realm or the same playing field.
Because it's like forward thinking is always being like the positive, always thinking like, right?
No.
It don't gotta do nothing.
You gotta acknowledge the negative so that you can be positive.
Okay.
So if you're going forward, you're gonna speak progressively. Man, you know what? I've been thinking this, and this is what I'm gonna do. And blah, blah, blah. I'm going to acknowledge what I'm going to do in the future. I'm going to acknowledge where I'm going. When you say, well, I think that's some bullshit and blah, 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 you're not going forward. You're not. You're just going to stay in that same place because you casting them spells on yourself. At a certain point, you got to look at I'm glad I keep saying that at a certain point. But you got to look at the fact that you keep cursing yourself. Mm-hmm. You putting the negativity on yourself. And that's why you're coming in contact with so many issues and so many problems with people.
Well, the negativity is there. It's just part of it. It's not always positive. It's negative shit too.
Is that your way of responding to that statement?
Yeah.
So does that give you a solution? So does that give you a
all good? You don't just find something that's just all good. You don't find something that's just all bad. So to not if you just tell me I gotta be able to acknowledge it. So that's what I mean.
So what solution have you given?
To what problem?
Everything that you're saying.
No, that's like a lot. Like what are you talking about?
What you specifically just said. What solution do you have
for
when you say?
Thinking?
Yeah, that'll work. Go ahead. Go with that one.
See, I had to come up with the question. That wasn't a
It's your accountability. Is your world anyway.
Oh.
So, what solution do you have? Because if you you know what, go ahead.
Have a healthy balance of
what?
forward thinking.
So how would you? So is there like a method you have in place, some kind of structure, some kind of order?
No.
Okay, so are you acknowledging the possibility that you need one?
Yeah.
Or did you want one, or something like that?
Yeah.
You see, that's forward thinking. Ain't nothing toxic positive about that.
Oh.
Unless you see something in that that's toxically positive or whatever. Toxic positivity is when a person's saying everything's fine even when it's not. Oh yeah, everything's good, blah blah blah, and it can be some wicked ass shit going on, but everything's good. Everything that's toxic positivity. They ain't got nothing to do with forward thinking. Because toxic positivity comes with unacknowledging what's negative.
Okay.
You see, so this is a great bill. This is a great bill. So yeah, it's literally your words and what you're speaking into the universe. You have to be mindful of what you're saying. Part of the reason why we can go back and forth like this is because I'm mindful of what I'm saying. I'm not just speculating. I'm not just trying to come up with some kind of perspective or some kind of argument just to make myself seem right. I'm mindful of every single word that's coming out of my mouth. I'm mindful.
So me questioning you is me like, is that a problem?
No, I don't understand the question. I don't understand. No, and I don't understand the nature of the question.
Because like what I just heard, like that's what then the question popped in my head. He was like, I don't get why like you're doing this and that, and why we
be specific. This and that is
why
confusion.
we're having this back and forth conversation.
Oh, you didn't understand why I said it.
No.
Okay, you're giving me a certain amount of negative energy. Objectively, I'm giving myself a certain amount of negative energy. And I have to be able to come up with the positive perspective and the solution. I have to. And the negativity shows where the weakness exists. The only way a person can be, I don't know if you watch the videos, put it on YouTube, but the only way the devil can exist is through weakness. Devil only come around. We only do our weakest, most evil, sinister shit when we weak. Strength, being good guy, is what takes strength. That's also what Cato was talking about earlier. It's too easy to do the wicked shit.
Yeah, I read
Take more energy. It takes more energy to do the good stuff. So if you're showing me, if I'm showing myself, if you're showing me, either way I want to say it, hey, this is some negative stuff, this is some wicked stuff, this is evil, this is that. Then why'd I just fucking say that? Why'd I just say that? I got to bring it back to balance. Oh, you're showing me the weakness in myself. And you're showing it in yourself at the same time. That's the subjective, objective part. I'm seeing it in myself and you seeing it in yourself. That's the quote unquote dual game right there. You got to go, what's the source? The objective is what's the source of why this thing is happening. Mm-hmm. Math is the object. Trig, geometry, algebra, discrete math, calculus, those are the subjects. But the source of them is math or arithmetic. When you focusing on objectivity, you're going to focus on the why, the cause, the catalyst. You're not going to focus on the effect. That's like trying to just take medicine. You only focus on the effect. In that case, instead of preventing that shit, oh, you got high blood pressure. Okay, well, what are you eating? Person got high blood, not you. But if a person has high blood pressure, they're going to be like, man, I need to go get this medicine because I got high blood pressure. Instead of, what the fuck is causing me to have high blood pressure? Big difference. That's focusing on the objective, the source, the cause, the catalyst of why it even exists. You got to go on that quest that you were talking about over and over and over and over again. That's good spells. That's also forward thinking. You need to go on a quest. Anytime I can't figure something out, I'm going on a quest. Forward thinking. Perfect example. So there's many things that I hear come out of Imani's mouth that Imani got to be practicing. Otherwise, Imani just going to be a hypocrite. There's things that I say that I have to practice. Otherwise, I'm going to be a hypocrite. See, subjective, objective. Ain't no confusion in that. Well, if there is, let me know. Are we clear? Yeah. So that's why I'm able to do this. I'm the best person at doing this. I'm the best. Like look at this response. Listen to what I'm saying. Of course, I feel a certain type of way about the energy I'm receiving, but I'm aware of why it's happening. I'm aware of it. So I control myself. Those that seek to control others lack self-control. So if I seek to control you, I lack self-control. If you seek to control me, you lack self-control. Make sense? There you go. And with the self-control thing, that'd be that emotionally demanding thing. So you got to look at your placements in your chart. You really do need to study your chart, because that's the most important thing to you, so that you can see your chart playing out in all these relationships, which is one thing that we talked about earlier, way earlier, weeks ago. You need to see in your chart play out, yo. You actually see in your chart play out. But if you see in the patterns and you don't understand the why, then you ain't been studying your chart. You don't get it. That's why I like when I'm in a relationship with a person and we got similar placements, I'd be like, oh, okay. Now I really understand why when it comes to certain things, because we got the same placements. We got the same Mars. I'm gonna be like, not that, but I'm gonna be like, oh, they do that. Here's my Mars and Capricorn playing out subjectively through this other person. Oh, Mars and Capricorn's a hard worker. Look at how hard they work when they do work. That's why they so good at it. Look, listen to how me and Money got the Mercury in Cancer, and I'd be like, okay, that's why she's thinking like that, because I be thinking the same way. I be thinking similar way. I'm glad that I'm where I'm at, but this shit is something that's coming from me. I'm actually conversing with myself. You conversing with yourself, and I'm conversing with myself through that astrological chart, and that's how we all fit together objectively. We're gonna be saying the stuff that we're supposed to say. We're gonna be doing the stuff that we're supposed to do, even though we're different subjectively. It's just gonna be playing out. It's gonna fit like a puzzle, right? Great analogy. You got a 1,000-piece puzzle, but it's one puzzle with one image.
Yeah.
Subjectively, it's a bunch of different pieces, but when you put it together, it's all one image.
Yeah, you got a whole bunch of cells and put them all together.
So when it comes to your concepts and your perceptions, yo, you need analogies. You need analogies are great, because analogies help us be objective. And when we say gratitude is the highest frequency of existence, I can be like, let's say you need it. Let's say your friend that you haven't seen in 10 years sends you some mail as your best friend, and they've been overseas or something. And they told you they sent you some mail, and then the post office be like, oh, we having issues with the mail. And it'd be like weeks that go by, you don't get this letter, or you don't get whatever they sent. And then the day you finally get that shit, you're gonna be feeling the experience of, you're gonna be feeling the feeling of gratitude. Like, man, I'm glad I finally got that thing. Or if you needed some money, and then somebody just gave it to you, you just gonna feel grateful. Though we all are different subjectively, the feeling the same. We're gonna respond to it the same way. Man, it's a great feeling. It's objective. So I need that analogy.
Excuse me.
It's a lot to take in.
Yeah, I'm full.
Fair enough. So yeah, this is what you've always needed to do, is just listen. Like, instead of trying to be so focused on being heard, let everybody else be heard. It's different if you freaking, I don't know if you get it. I ain't gotta elaborate on that shit, man.
What? You want to say something?
No, I'm just saying I ain't gotta elaborate. I was gonna try to come up with some kind of analogy about something different, but it's not about trying to talk all the time. It's about, what is your reality telling you? Listen. When you're around different people, you hear different stuff, man.
Yeah.
So what do you want to listen to? Do you want to listen to the same stuff that puts you in the same patterns as you were before? Or do you want to listen to some new stuff that's going to put you in a new pattern, in a new state, in a new reality, in a new world?
Right.
What do you want to listen to?
New patterns.
That's why you can't go back to your old self. It ain't fitting to you. If you stay in your old self, your lower self, ain't nothing to receive. Ain't nothing new. You got to clear out that space. So the next step for you is application. And it don't happen just on your time and whenever you feel like it. The only time is when. Well said. So it has nothing to do with me doing something or me something not happening at the speed that I want it. Subjectively, it has nothing to do with that. It's about either you're going to stay in the now or you're going to be in the past or in the future. Go ahead. No, go ahead. I want to hear it.
Like, why can't we think on the future? Like, I do think about the future. I don't think it's necessarily negative. No, I do it too much and they call that anxiety.
If you thinking about the future, you're focused on the now. Okay. What do I mean by that?
If you're thinking about the now, you're doing those things now, then it's just going to grow and process to the future.
Exactly. So when we're talking about not thinking about the future, we're talking about what isn't happening in the now. I want to do this, I want to do that, blah, blah, blah. Just do that shit now. Oh, I want to see this and I want to see that. Okay, do that shit now so you can see it. Do it now.
You're doing the patterns, yeah.
There's a lot of questions you'll ask me and I'll be like, bro, this shit doesn't seem difficult to me, but I understand because I got a lot of experience. I get it. I get it. It's like I be wanting you to question yourself instead of questioning me many times. and you'll be so focused sometimes on questioning me and trying to get somebody else to give you the answer subjectively instead of learning the answer objectively. Because that's a dependency thing.
Yep. That makes sense.
If it makes sense, as I was told in the past, if it makes sense, now you can go make a couple dollars.
Yeah.
What I'm doing in my life makes sense. You know? And if we were to use the phonetics, we can use SENSE instead of CENTS. A sense and sense.
Yeah, sense is sense.
And if it makes, so if I'm using SENSE, I'm talking about feelings.
You are, I am.
So yeah, your perception of life really is everything. How you look at it is everything. When you're mimicking, how do we say it? Plants look the way that they do because they're reflecting the same light. Things are green. For example, you got soursop tree leaves that are green and other soursop trees that are green. The leaves are green and they have a certain shape because they're reflecting the same light. When you get around somebody, you start to feel the way they feel, look the way they look, move the way they move, and reflect the same light.
Right.
So if they're not reflecting the light that you want to see within yourself, then you're just going to be something else. Really, I mean, either way, you're still going to be what you want to be because it's about your position. But you know how you want to feel objectively and at your highest. You know how you want to feel. Nobody else can give it to you. Nor would it be logical for you to rely on someone else to give you a feeling that you need to be embodying yourself. You know? So yeah, last one. That's where we at. These are the things that I've learned through sitting in silence, through being alone and not seeking people, through solitude. Same thing, not seeking people, solitude. These are the things that I learned. And that's why I actually do like being myself, because I really love me. I love what I am. Because before I'm a who, I'm a what. I love what I am, what I do, all of that. I'm not necessarily focused on every other character and just the projection and all the other stuff. I'm focused on what I'm doing to contribute to the other parts of myself. What am I doing to contribute? And I can either contribute to the ones that aren't reflecting the same light as me, or I can contribute to the ones that are. What's going to give me the best benefit? Obviously, the ones that are. But if you want to be a teacher, then that means you're forcing yourself to possibly encounter ones that, well, actually, ain't no possibly. If you want to be a teacher, you're going to be focused on the parts of yourself that don't understand what you understand. That's deep. That's deep. So what you really want to be in life actually is a student of life. This is why I call myself a student. And other times a coach. You know? So anything else? What I want to add to this? Anything else? Algo más. Yeah. Pay attention to when you triggered. Pay attention to when you're insecure or triggered or anything. And then ask yourself, this is my solution for you, because I do have a solution. Ask yourself how you want to respond. That's how you take control of your whole life. Got it? Peace and love.